welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Snowman, and this is CounterVine. BAGHDAD BAGHDAD is one of the pillars of Vintage, most commonly seen in the Dredge deck, but there are other things you can do with a Bazaar, and this is one of them. BAGHDAD BAGHDAD, an insanely powerful card, a weirdo from the early days of Magic, tap to draw 2 and then discard 3 cards. This is not a good deal long-term if you care about having cards in your hand generally. The Dredge deck avoids this by not caring if it has cards in its hand, and the CounterVine deck avoids this by having ways to recoup those cards. SQUEE Goblin Nabob. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return this from your graveyard to your hand, and Master of Death. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this card is in your graveyard, you can pay a life to return it to your hand. We've got 8 things we can discard and just get back eventually to get the card advantage engine going. If you have 3 of these going, you're functionally drawing 3 cards a turn, and you can overwhelm your opponents with just card advantage that way. There's also the Blitz mode of the deck, which we have Vengevine, a card that triggers out of your graveyard, or 3 haste. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you've cast this turn, you may return Vengevine to the graveyard, from the graveyard to the battlefield. And then we have Blazing and Basking Rootwalla, both cards that we can cast for 0 mana if they are discarded. And Hollow One, a card that costs 5 and costs 2 less for each card we've discarded this turn. That means tapping BAGHDAD BAGHDAD, discarding Vengevine, Rootwalla, and anything else, then casting a Hollow One, or discarding 2 Rootwallas, will return the Vengevine, and then the damage commences. Once you're attacking for somewhere between 4 and 10 a turn, you have your 5 Wasteland effects, 4 Wasteland, 1 Strip Mine, and then all 8 blue forces, and 4 green forces, and 2 Mindbreak Traps, and 2 Furies, and 2 Snapbacks. Just a bunch of pitch magic, free spells to punch a hole and get over the finish line. This looks like a kind of blitz stupid aggro deck on its surface, and the nut draws will feel like that if you just keep 7, tap BAGHDAD BAGHDAD, put a Vengevine into play with a Hollow One and back it up with Force of Will. It's going to feel like you didn't play Magic at all. But this is secretly a control deck where maybe you don't have a Vengevine in your opening hand. You could take your time with Squeeze and Master of Deaths and just keep 7 cards in your hand for the entire game, Force of Will some stuff, Force of Vigor some stuff, Wasteland them a few times, and eventually, when they're out of stuff to do, you can win with random Rootwalla beats. This deck was very popular 2 years ago at Eternal Weekend, and last year it took kind of a beating because the best deck in Vintage is Aggro-Control, which is a deck featuring 5 Wastelands of their own that can kill your Bazaars, and 4 Orcish Bowmaster. And this might be tough to visualize, but the deck that's trying to draw many cards in a turn to put a bunch of small creatures into play is not good against the card that kills all your small creatures when you draw extra cards. But this new paradoxical outcome metagame that StockUp has enabled, I don't really want to play against this deck if I'm a combo deck. Look at all the interaction in this deck, the fast clock, the inevitability of the card advantage. Interesting spot in the metagame here where it is bad against the best deck, but good against the second best deck that is good against the best deck. I'm going to take this opportunity before we play the games to say I'm not a Bazaar expert, and I'll be doing my best to figure out sideboarding and sequencing on the fly here. If you want to watch an expert, check out Firetruck Moto on YouTube. He is a Bazaar player from England who puts out videos and stuff and is quite good at this sort of thing. If you want more content than just the overarching simple version of understanding this deck. Here we go. This is CounterVine from Snowman. I'm on the draw in round 1. No Bazaar, we powder. No Bazaar, we mulligan. No Bazaar, we mulligan. No Bazaar, we mulligan. Here we go. This is the Bazaar experience. 3 cards. All right. I'm going to keep. I have a Bazaar. I have to put 4 cards to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, that's sometimes the bizarre experience. Hopefully we recoup these cards, or it doesn't really matter. I've been probed, and they have a Luris. Unfortunately, this is the version of Bazaar that really wants the 6 or 7 cards in hand, because we have so much pitch magic. Where, like Dredge, if these are just 2 Dredgers, this might be all they need. I'm not tapping my Bazaar yet, because I might need this Force Blue card. Right, the Meticulous Archive, this looks like PO. They've seen the Mindbreak Trap, so they're going to try to play around it. All right, I have to let Stock Up resolve because I need critical card mass in my hands. This deck usually does not have Wastelands in it, which is pretty nice. End step. Hell yeah. Okay, I mean, obviously Squee. I think I'm going to put the Rual in play for the beats. I kind of like Force of Vigor more than I like Force of Will here, but I don't have a green card to go with it. Okay, so I have damage. I have a Squee going. This is not much, and it won't last very long. Interesting. All right, now I have 2 cards I'm quite happy to discard. So I think I am going to roll the dice main phase here. All right. That went about as well as it could. And now I have a Vengevine in the graveyard, and my opponent has to respect the pressure. I don't think I'm going to fight over stock ups. This is obviously like, you know, do you counter the Fact or Fiction, or do you try to fight the spells that come out of it? But having Force Blue card Mindbreak gives me some juice here. Like, I actually can fight a fight. Mental Misstep counters Vexing Bauble, which is one of the most devastating cards they could ever play. Thunder Trap Trainer. All right. I believe we're in the trap here, so thundered your trap, didn't I? Black Lotus is in. All right, now is a great time to find some ways to trigger Vengevine. Another Force. Okay, this actually is an interesting decision, because Master of Death, while it is air quotes free discard looper, it's also a blue card for Force. So I think I'm just going to pass here with my cards in hand and be patient. Here's the Saga. When this pops, I'm basically dead. So this is the turn where we really have to make something happen, if something's going to happen. Outcome, Force, pitching, misstep. Force, this is why we held the Master of Death. Force, pitching, Master. Merchant Scroll, this is going to be probably for Ancestral. And there's nothing I could Bazaar into that would be helpful here. I think I'm going to go for a blind Bazaar in the end step. Oh, don't time walk me. Thunder Trap, okay. That one's not as bad as time walk. As tapping Bazaar is basically mill 2 here. And if it's a creature that would trigger Vengevine, I regret it. But if it's like another Squee, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, yeah, I mean, losing that Root Walla now, not ideal. I really want to trigger this Vengevine while I still can. Well, I can even through a Vexing Bauble. All right, high roll time. I need to hit one of my remaining 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 creatures in my deck left. Let's go. Oh, no. All right. Well, this is not as bad as it could have been. Oh, wait, yes, it is. Shit. Never mind. I have to discard 3 of these. If I had 2, I could hit the Urza Saga before they untap. All right, I'm going to discard Vengevine, Force of Vigor, and Squee, and hold on to this Root Walla. So once they tutor the Vexing Bauble, none of my spells will resolve anymore, but my creatures don't have to resolve, and 8 power might be enough to smash their head. The PO decks don't usually have main deck graveyard or like Pithing Needle stuff. But we can see how the mulligan caught up to me. I mean, obviously, it's not rocket surgery to explain why mulling to 4 is worse than having 7 cards in your hand. But literally that turn, or the turn before it, if I'd been able to hold this Rual in my hand rather than just drop it out of the end step as a 1/1, then 2 Vengevines would be in play. If I had been able to hold 1 card in my hand on this last Bazaar, I would have been able to Force a Vigor before they go off all the way. This is still a game of inches, though their construct being bigger than my Vengevines is a pretty big problem right now. All right, Squee, come back to me. Serum Powder. All right, 1, 2, 3. Second Bazaar. I'm spinning my wheels. We're doing it. Shit. All right. All right. I believe this game is over at this point. Okay. Devastating mulligan, but that comes with the territory. Okay, we don't need Fury in this matchup. I'm going to take that out for more Mindbreak traps. And we don't need the Graveyard Hate or the creature removal, really. This is just... Honestly, give me those same cards I saw last game, but let me keep 5 or 6 instead of 4, and I think we win that game. Closer than it looked. I've seen some pretty cool builds of CounterVine. I wanted to play kind of the most stock-looking build that I could find to showcase on the channel, but I saw one playing Leyline of the Guild Pact, which is pretty sweet because it pitches to literally everything. Everything that we have that pitches, it pitches the Leyline. And turning on your Bazaars and Wastelands to just cast Master of Death and make that a side plan, or cast Vengevine, is pretty awesome. Being able to actually buff your root wall is game-changing in a lot of spots. No Bazaar, we mulliganed. Here we go. Okay, I get to keep 6 this time, and my hand is quite good. I'm going to bottom one of the Wastelands. And I can Bazaar now. I got all these squeeze. Squee, Serum Powder. I think I actually do want to play this hollow one. It's real pressure in a spot that I'm not looking at a Vengevine anyway. Alright, it costs them a Force of Will. We'll take it. A Force pitched a Force. Mox, Delta, Soul Guide Lantern. That's annoying. That'll slow me down a bit. Are they going to pop it right away or wait for a Vengevine? Yeah, popping it right away I think is correct. That's what I would have done. Taking out 2 squeeze is pretty nice. I'm just going to play out Wasteland and pass. I don't want them fetching Meticulous Archive in the end step. If they are the Unlucky Monkey build, they might not even have a basic. Time Walk, you got it. I think I'm going to waste in their upkeep. That makes Meticulous Archive worse, while still wasting them. And the Underground Sea means they probably are. Oh no! Well, I need to fight over this or I'm cooked. Well, I seem pretty cooked, I'm going to be honest. Okay, I've got some options here. Force of Vigor, Force of Will, Blazing Rootwalla, discarded. Yeah, this is the worst card that they could ever have for me. I could Noxus Revival something while the getting's still good. Like, do I want this Wasteland on top of my deck? Do I think this 1/1's going to go coast to coast? Maybe. The alternative was keeping that Noxus Revival as just fodder for Bazaar activations in the future. But I think collapsing their plan into nothing, because they can't play Moxen while Vexing Bauble's in play, and if they're the build with no basics, maybe this will just deal 19 by itself. Vengevine does still work if I can get things moving forward with my Bazaars. They bought Luris. I'm just going to go to my turn. I don't need to Wasteland in this end step. Okay. I could Bazaar away the other Bazaar and keep a card. Or I could play the other Bazaar and just start aggro-milling myself. I think aggro-mill makes sense. I'm going to take out Tundra because that casts Luris and Swords to Plowshares. Alright, have to discard all these. And I'll just attack and I'll mill myself for another 2 in their end step. Meticulous Archive. Soul Guide Lantern. Pain in the ass. This makes the aggro-mill strat a little worse, but there's currently no cards in my graveyard I care about. Maybe we can force some action. Nope. Wasteland, one of the cards I would have actually liked to draw instead. Okay, there's 1. There's 2, and the Strip Mine is gone. Okay, I'm not going to activate Bazaar again until they use their Soul Guide Lantern. My Masters will trigger in my next upkeep, and they'll probably Soul Guide then. If they can play Luris right now, that sucks a lot of ass. Okay, they've exiled my graveyard. We're back to aggro-milling. Rootwalla doesn't work. Cast it, it gets countered. And the last Wasteland's gone. Somehow I hit the 3 remaining Wastelands in my deck before a single Squee. Oh no, that's not even true. I hit 2 Squees. I'm not allowed to complain. This hollow one is interesting. I think I'm going to sit on the hollow one for a minute. Work my way towards Vengevine, which is how I really turn the corner. If they can play Luris and then play Soul Guide Lantern, I'll just concede. But if they are stuck over there, I'll take it. 3 mana. We're just going to Flame of Anor my Rootwalla. Lingus for 1. Alright. That is a 2/2 blocker, or they could introduce the Monarch, which I think would be reckless as hell versus me, because they just get to take it back. And giving me extra cards is wild. A Rootwalla. Alright, I'll take the Monarch, and then we'll see where this goes. I just need to find a Vengevine somewhere in my life. I can now trigger a Vengevine if I find one, easily. And at instant speed. Soul Ring. Still doesn't play Luris. Stock up. They're moving in the right direction. So getting to the spot, I am behind and I'm likely to lose, but they had the one of in their deck that matters, and 2 copies of Soul Guide Lantern, and my Bazaar did not come up with a blue card for this Force of Will. Like, all 4 of those things had to be true for them to be in this dominating position right now. I don't think I'm going to end step this. Another Rootwalla. I'm just going to crack back here. All right, just give me those cards. I have to find a Vengevine for this game to be a game at all. Okay, the Knight has hit me. I think I can afford to Bazaar in this end step. I have enough cards, and even if I discard 3 cards that I would normally care about, I can still play a Vengevine, or trigger a Vengevine in the future. Thundertrap Conqueso. We're officially over the hump here. Vengevine is not even going to help me anymore. Now they just win with Luris, even if I do start venging. Gitaxian Probe, Swords to Plowshares. Well, I'm super dead. I'm going to give them a chance to mess up. I'll play one more turn, but pretty sure we're dead. Hardcast Gitaxian Probe, that's how that works. End step Bazaar. Alright, a bunch of bricks. Alright, I'm going to discard 3 Rootwallas. And I'm holding the Force blue card because if they do something like PO and pick up their own bauble, this is a card that might matter. But I'm likely to just go to my turn, activate Bazaar, and then concede. There's 1. Alright, we're in business. Show me 3 more. Alright, there's 2. 1, 2, 3. Alright, 2 Vengevines have triggered. Rootwalla cast. And I'm going to tap the other Bazaar, because if I hit another Vengevine, that actually plays. Alright, no love. 1, 2, 3. Alright, hollow 1, trigger 2 Vengevines. Keeping a second hollow 1 in the bank. This is going to get plowed, chump blocked, and then we lose. Alright, yeah. Insanely cooked. Alright, I mean, mull to 4 and basically the nut sequence possible out of PO, including a powerful restricted card. We saw the weaknesses of this deck exposed, but we also saw the strengths, because both of these games were much closer than might otherwise be indicated. I did go 32 cards into my deck before I found a Vengevine here as well. I don't know, closer than it may seem on the board as it stands. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2, no Luris revealed, and a Golos avatar. I wonder how much truth they're telling here. They mull to 6, which means they will see me powder here before they keep a hand. Powder into a keeper. Alright, we're playing on 7, and we do have turn 1 Vengevine. Let's see if I can make it happen here. Don't Trinosphere me, bro. Or just a turn 1 Disruptor Flute. GG. Ancient Tomb. Mox Ruby. Chrome Mox. Okay, so it's initiative. Interesting. Alright, so they prioritize Seasoned Dungeoneer over Archon of Emeria. I think that might cost them the game. Alright, let's see what happens here. I need a red card to really pay this out. Oh, Fury is a freaking creature spell. We're good. We're good! Alright. Sick. Bazaar Baghdad. Tap. Discard. Squee. Vengevine. And Mindbreak Trap. Because I'm going to Force of Vigor their mana. Alright, yeah. This is the nuts. Alright, Squee. Vengevine. Mindbreak Trap discarded. Fury your creature. This is 1 creature spell. Hollow 1. That's the other. Destroy all of their mana in their upkeep. And still have double Bazaar Squee going with the initiative. I don't play any basic lands though. Didn't think to put any of those in my deck. Have to search, not optional. And then in the old upkeep arena, Kaplowy. Right, after seeing last round's mull to 4, lose to Vexing Bauble sequence, this is the other side of the deck. Firing on all cylinders. Archon of Emeria, a little late for that. I think if they had led on the Archon, they pitched on the Chrome Mox last turn, though. My Bazaar would have come into play tapped. I can never trigger a Vengevine. Do I want to forge or lost well? I think I want to forge. Put counters on Vengevine. Get Squee back. Wasteland comes in tapped, unfortunately. But it will still be good in the future. If they don't block here, the Ancient Tomb doesn't work anyway. And if they do block, that turns on my Bazaar action. So I punted this. I should have held the Wasteland. I forgot all the implications of the combat math plus Ancient Tomb business. All right, yeah, that was demonstrably and 100% a mistake. Just busy whipping my permanents around. All right, cool. Luckily, we were in a spot where I was winning so hard it didn't matter, but that was still pretty sloppy. Okay, Mental Misstep is one of the blue cards to support Force of Will, but I'm still out on it. Chalice of the Void on the draw. I like it on the play, not on the draw. Snapback can clear the way. The Furies and Pyros can clear the way. Force of Negation attacking their mana actually is kind of useful here. Probably better than Force of Vigor. I want my creatures, I want my removal, I want my lands. All right, I think I have to... No, I'm not going to shave a Force of Negation. I'll go minus another Force of Vigor. All right, a bunch of removal in and some conditional interaction out. Maybe I'm supposed to bring in these Mindbreak traps too, on the draw at least. Okay, I will be powdering this hand. Sucks to see 2 Vengevines go, but I don't think it's right to mulligan a hand just because you don't want to exile to powder some of the cards you see. Like if all 4 of my Vengevines were in the powder hand, I think I still powder. All right, powder again. This is a hollow one going. Here we go. Keep. There's still all of my Root Wallas. No, 7 of my Root Wallas, 2 Vengevines, 3 hollow ones still in the deck. Chancellor of the Annex. All right, well, that's quite powerful. Luckily, I have double force. Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox. I am going to fight this fight. Force of Negation, pitching Snapback. All right, don't pay. And actually, I'm going to hold the Force of Will here because they played their land first. If they play their Chrome Mox first, then I probably have to fight over it out of respect for Cavern of Souls. But here I have Force of Will, Wasteland, and then they can play the game on a single white mana while I get Bazaar going. Bang. Okay, let's hope this holds. If their hand is just like Ancient Tomb, Anointed Peacekeeper, I'm dead. But if it's not that, I'm in pretty good shape. Strip Mine's annoying. All right, Bazaar, Squee, Serum Powder. I think I do discard the Root Wallet just to have literally anything in play here. Because if they strip me, there's a good chance that that will cost them playing a spell this turn. And if they don't strip me, I get to keep Bazaaring. Okay, they did strip me. They could have untapped and made a decision with new information on that. Like, I'm not going to do anything in between then and now. Okay, how many Noxious Revivals are in exile? 0. So I have 7 good draws in my deck. I do have Fury available because Squeeze a red card. And now I have Pyrokinesis as well. Okay. So if they do something reckless, like introduce the initiative, I could run away with this. And in the meantime, it's Blazing Root Walla versus the top of both of our decks. All right, please cast Seasoned Engineer. Actually, I want that to happen. Hell yeah. Okay. I mean, their mana's set up, but I do get to take the initiative. And if Blazing Root Walla gets up to 3/3, that's an object we can play with. Hollow one. Okay. I think I have to pitch Squee here, because I don't have a Bazaar looping that anyway. And the Pyrokinesis turns on any red card to being useful in the future. All right, I am initiated. Their hand is Plains, 1 unknown, and a random card they're about to draw. There's the Plains. Uh-oh. And they get to Forge immediately, which means Pyrokinesis won't even work. All right, now I think we're dead. But playing 5 turns of Magic and 3 of them without a Bazaar, pretty scrappy stuff. And I could still draw a Bazaar. If they go into the Lost Well instead of the Forge, that's also a mistake. I have a Snapback I could still draw, right? I've exiled 1. Yeah, there's still a Snapback in my deck, which is not a good long-term solution, but it plays for a little bit. All right, I am bravely not going to concede yet. We're not literally dead yet. Bazaar still dumps 8 power into play. And if they attack, they do need a blocker as well, or I'll take the initiative. Cavern of Souls. 1 card left in hand. Named Cleric. All right, I'm going to concede to this one. I definitely can't do anything. They just named BAGHDAD with this and my deck doesn't work. Okay, on the play this time, Chalice of the Void comes in. Is Mindbreak Trap better than Force of Negation? It probably is. That beats the Cavern. And then I don't have to cherry pick fighting over artifacts. I think this last Force of Vigor is not really doing anything. Okay. Here we go. I need to be on board before they get on board. And on the play is where I have the best chance of doing that. On the play with a Vengevine and a BAGHDAD, I will keep. I am going to BAGHDAD on my first turn rather than hold because discarding Vengevine SQUEE-Master is a fine backdrop, even in the fail case of not hitting 2 Root Wallas to trigger Vengevine right away. If they reveal Chancellor the Annex again, which isn't always in their deck when they're on the draw, but if they reveal Chancellor the Annex again, I might just lead on Wasteland and hold up Mindbreak Trap to... If I can trap a payoff, pay the 1, untap, waste them, and get BAGHDAD going, that game feels pretty over. And this is what I was talking about in the deck tech about the nuance of this deck compared to other BAGHDAD decks. Like the idea that I would not just tap BAGHDAD and try to get this Vengevine going, there's actually several other options here. Like there's play BAGHDAD, don't activate it. There's play Wasteland, pass. All of which kind of are viable based on what my opponent shows me here. Okay, they did mull to 5 with a Chancellor of the Annex, so I am going to play Wasteland and pass. I can even beat Anointed Peacekeeper because I have the Fury. Plains, Black Lotus, that's 1. Well, that's pretty good. They played around Mindbreak Trap. And I can't Wasteland them because they're just randomly have a basic Plains. Alright, pretty good start. Black Lotus, hell of a card. But I do have Fury to kill this thing. And I can pay the 1 for Chancellor. Alright, BAGHDAD, activate. Hell yeah. Alright. Vengevine, discard for sure. Basking Root Walla discarded. And Master of Death discarded. And then I can play Hollow One and Fury, clear this, take the initiative. Alright. Madness trigger. I will cast it. I will pay the 1. Even though that barely matters, but I'm not using the mana for anything else. Fury to make sure I don't get Mindbreak trapped. This is the important spell this turn. And then I can attack and play Hollow One. I'm going to play that second main. Initiated. And another one. Okay, sweet. They danced around my Wasteland Mindbreak Trap open and still are getting pummeled. 2 of their 3 cards in hand are Chancellor and Plains here. Oof, look at this. They have one of the finest Plains ever printed, and this Landbox Plains from M19. Tough, tough. At least they had the sense to tutor this one, when given the option between all the Plains in their deck. I too would prefer to look at this one. I say that with my Vintage Masters BAGHDAD BAGHDAD in play. Don't look at it. It's shameful. Alright, here we go. I'm going to forge onto Basking Root Walla to spread the love around here. Get back to Master. And I have things I can afford to discard. Lots of them, in fact, so I will. I'm going to do that pre-combat just in case I high-rolled something. And with 2 Wastelands in play, I could even pay for a Tabernacle on most of my stuff here. And they are dead to the trap, even if they do Wrath me. They have to take the initiative and Wrath me here. We got the GGs. What a slugfest. A lot of really cool decisions and back and forth happened in those 3 games where we played very few turns. Pretty sweet. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 3. Another No Luris and Golos avatar. I don't think this is the same person, though I don't actually remember. It doesn't look familiar. I'm going to mulligan my hand. Okay, we've got a Powder 6, and the way Powder works if you've mulliganed is you bottom the card and before you Powder. So I'm going to leave a Vengevine in my deck. So I say I'm going to Powder, and I have to bottom a card, because that's how this works. and then I'll powder 6 fresh cards, and then from there I'll mulligan to 5. I think Vengevine's the card I want most. Here we go. Keep. A little clunky, not quite all the pieces here, but that's what Bazaar is for. Yeah, I just quickly checked my recording. This is not the same opponent, even though it is the same avatar. I am going to Bazaar on turn 1, because if I could find any blue card to back up Hollow One, that rules. And Serum Powder is just such a garbage card that I don't mind discarding it, even if it's not technically valuable. Ooh, okay. Well, I didn't find a red card. This is interesting. Now I am incentivized to hold the Hollow One. Like, if I found a red or blue card, I'd feel better about this, but I'm going to put Vengevine, Serum Powder, and Strip Mine in the graveyard. Or maybe it's Force of Will. Am I going to have 2 cards in my hand again this game? Not if I'm double Bazaring. Okay. I am going to do this. I'm keeping the Fury because that is a creature that other cards in my deck turn on to get the Vengevine rolling. Hope I don't just get 3-balled out of here. This is fine. As long as it's not followed up by Moxen and some other stuff. Okay. Wasteland I can play through. We have a plan for that. It's called the second Bazaar. And now I have a Hollow One. And a Vengevine. Let's party. That was the nuts. Master, Squee, Rootwalla. Rootwalla. That boy. That other boy. I wonder if this is a Bazaar Mirror, or if they're on like a really slow shitty hand with shops. What are you doing over there, opponent? If they concede, I'll have no information except yes, Wasteland, no Luris. Which there is a grid of things that could be. This could be Initiative, this could be shops, this could be a Bazaar Mirror of some kind. Could be Bug with like Okos and those sort of things. Alright, Ancient Tomb. They're going to continue playing at least so I know stuff. Okay, so I know it's Sphere Shops now. That is probably more information than I would have given away, but let's see what their plan to actually win this game is. If ever there was a place for a tactical concession, when you're behind against Bazaar in game 1 is a reasonable place to do it. Oh, baby. Activating Bazaar. 1, 2, 3. I am going to attack with the Rootwalla as well, because if they block that, that's 3 extra damage getting through somewhere instead of a chump block. And I'm about to strip them and deploy another 4/4. Bang. Bang. The ward means I can't Fury their blocker here. So if they have a Tabernacle and can get it, like if they Mox, Shop, Golos, grab Tabernacle, I do probably still lose this game. Though triggering Vengevine still plays. Oh, the Bajuka Bog and Stonecoil Serpent. They still look pretty dead to me, especially with the Fury in hand. Alright, I mean, yeah, the Fury just does it, but they were in trouble anyway. Just pile all this onto Stonecoil. Cool. Alright, Sphere Shops is the enemy. This is a deck with Wastelands. They're probably going to board in some Graveyard Hate. We saw Bajuka Bog, which means that they have Golos in their deck. We saw enough to suspect that they have a tutor package of some kind. Force of Vigor looks good. Force of Negation, Force of Will. I like all of those. Chalice on the draw. No thanks. I'll bring in a Fury over that. I don't think I'm going to make a lot of changes here. Like, Mindbreak Trap stops some of their opening plays, but probably not as well as the traditional forces do. Snapback could clear a hole. Mental Misstep is not going to have any targets in their deck. I could add another Fury. I think I'd rather build out my blue count, though. Like, the high roll of Mindbreak Trap lining up against their opening line versus it pitches to the 8 forces that I'm leaving in, I think is fine. Versus having the 4th Pyrokinesis Fury style effect. When it A, doesn't kill Golos, B, doesn't kill Patches of Houlihan. Yeah, all right. Maybe I don't need this 3rd Fury at all. Maybe I actually just want all the Mindbreak Traps. It kills Stonecoil Serpent. Oh, Scrawly Crawly. That's not a card I want to play against. Okay. Alright, alright. This is what I'm doing. This is a powder that is costing me 3 Squeeze, a Rootwalla, a Force, and a Vengevine. Yeah, this is one of those, if I were weaker in my heart, I might consider mulling to leave all these powerful cards in my deck, but that's not what I'm doing. I'd rather have 7 cards from a weaker pool than 6 cards from a stronger pool, I think. Powder, and keep. I've got the Bazaar. I can Force of Negation something. I can Fury something. Wasteland's pretty good against them. They didn't Leyline of the Void me. Shop, Sapphire. Please be a spell. Please be a spell. Don't be a creature. Ooh, all right. Mindbreak Trap's on. Got him. Got him. JK. They have a 5/5 that I cannot interact with. Okay. Scary. I think I should Wasteland. I can recuperate and overcome versus a 5/5, but not if they're continuing to cast spells after that. Wasteland. All right. I have that covered with Noxious Revival, which doesn't change the clock because increments of 5. All right. How about a Vengevine right now, team? We did it. Vengevine. Rootwalla is the discard here. Just start pushing right back. Just like that, I am clocking faster than they are. Though I am down a hit on the race. All right, in for 4. They're at 16. I can park the bus and just block if the game gets to that spot. I'd like to just slug it out, though. Ancient Tomb. Shit, a creature. My greatest weakness. And getting Bog here or something doesn't really matter. Tabernacle kills my ass, though. So I'm going to double block because I'm losing these anyway. I'm probably going to Noxious Revival this Wasteland, because I can't possibly beat Tabernacle. All right, pretty sure we're dead. If this was Force of Will, this game would have been trivial, but it was not. It was the other one. Bazaar. Oh, that's pretty bad. So I am at 2, and I'm going to lose my Bazaar. Master of Death coming back costs me a life, puts me to 1. I think that's where this game has to go. This Noxious Revival's not going to do anything. All right, I've lost this one. Wrong Force in my hand, and didn't have Mindbreak Trap. If I had Mindbreak Trap, I also would have won that game, instead of specifically Force of Negation. What does that mean? I do want Chalice on the play. I think I'm going to go -1 Force of Negation. I don't want to be super results-oriented just from that one thing. I also could have sat Wasteland in play and respected Tabernacle more, but they would have just had Tabernacle faster if I hadn't wasted the shop. Is Mindbreak Trap a better card than Force of Negation in this matchup? I don't think so, because they have Spheres, they have Vexing Baubles, they got all their stuff. Yeah, that's the only change I'm going to make. And now I'm on the play, where everything's better. Wowee! Look at this. Powder. I should be able to look at 21 cards if I reveal triple Powder. I'm just saying. All right, Powder and keep. Well, we're going to find out if Mindbreak Trap's any good. Because there it is. Mindbreak Trap and Force of Negation. The most conditionally interactive hand imaginable. This hand does not have a second Bazaar, does not have a Noxious Revival, and does not have any early pressure. This hand is, like, shockingly weak to just Wasteland. I am just going to pass with Bazaar open. Because if they just Wasteland me, I'll activate it, and then Mindbreak Trap will be worse. But if they do just go like Mox Golos here, I want to be ready. And have all my options available. Wasteland, shit. Who could have predicted this? Bazaar. Oh, Hollow one, great. Yeah, that's the card I would have liked if I had. That's the one card that would have been good for me to keep. Okay, Mindbreak Trap. Mindbreak Trap. I think I have to discard Force of Negation here. Maybe it's Wasteland. All right, Wasteland. Trap, Wasteland discarded. Pretty bad situation here. Draw Bazaar immediately. No love. Okay. Tough spot. I would have liked to have Hollow one in play, but we can't predict that. All right. I mean, maybe that's the spot for Force of Negation, but with Force of Will in my hand, I'm less scared of it. The low G. I'm going to force this pitching Force of Negation. All right, so they have no mana right now. All right, we're looking for a 7-outer. Vengevine's not it. The game might get weird for a while, but they do have to do something, and Shops with no mana is just as bad as Bazaar with no Bazaar. Shit, that's a lot of mana. Stop it! Quit doing stuff. Stonecoil Serpent. All right, I can answer that anytime. I don't have to Wasteland yet. Force of Vigor. Okay. Well, I am going to Wasteland, even though this weakens me to future Tabernacle. And I am going to be patient on this Snapback stuff. I have Snapback and Force of Vigor that could both deal with this Serpent. I just have to decide whether Vengevine or Mindbreak Trap are going to be more useful cards if the game progresses in any other fashion. I am basically rolled up. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was just going to say I'm basically rolled up if I find a Bazaar. Well, I can dump Vengevine and deploy Hollow One here if I hit a creature in my top 2, or I can just pass and chill. Do I want to high roll it? Let's actually look at what's left. I've exiled 2 Root Wallas. So of the 12 cards that I'd like to hit, 3 of them are accounted for. 1 of them I already have. So I'm looking for 9 cards in 2 looks. I'm looking at them right now. I can just be patient here. I get punished if they draw. If they draw and are able to cast a sphere, that makes everything worse for me. But I think this is better the more cards I can look at before it's too late. Because they are kind of floundering over there. Okay, they just passed without doing anything. Love that for me. Root Walla, Hollow One. Oh, Noxious Revival. Now I can be a lot more bullish. Bazaar. And look at that. It was the 3rd card drawn. If I had done this last turn, I wouldn't have hit. Vengevine, Squee, Root Walla. Root Walla. Hollow One. Trigger Vengevine. Attack for 4. The race is on. I still have Snapback or Force of Vigor available. Either one denies them a mana here, but I don't think 1 mana is my squeeze point. Like, their Serpent is worse than my creatures, just on stats. Okay, that sucks. But we always knew that was possible. Right, there's the Strip Mine. So we're both going to have no permanence in the near future. I am going to Noxious Revival my Bazaar. I have a Squee. All right, my squad dies. All right, I'm going to keep pushing here. I have a Squee to keep cranking. Squee, Force of Vigor. I can't afford to use the Root Walla here. I think it's time to burn this Mindbreak Trap, which makes the Snapback worse, but this is where I find myself. If they don't have another Wasteland immediately, I can Noxious Revival my Wasteland and break out of Tabernacle. If they do have Wasteland immediately, I have another Bazaar from the Revival. Inventor's Fair. Okay. That is another mana, but it's not something I care deeply about. I can draw for turn before I have to use this Revival, because I can just Bazaar the Wasteland up if I don't draw something already useful. Alright, target Wasteland with Revival. Bazaar. Another Bazaar. Okay, Force of Vigor, Squee, Snapback are gone. Play Wasteland, pass. I am dead in 2 hits to this Serpent now. I gotta solve this problem pretty soon. I can Wasteland the Tabernacle anytime. I want them to be bothered by it in the interim. This is going to be tight. This is going to come down to a big double Bazaar turn with me at dead on board. Mox Sapphire, that's scary. That's worth a lot of mana. And the Caracas, they could just... Oh, if they Golos here, I'm so cooked. Arn. Okay. That one... Yeah, they probably have a Tormod script in their sideboard. That should do it. The sudden jump from 1 to 4 mana. An effective tool in any matchup. Just gotta hope that their Karn board doesn't have it. Oh, Scrawly Crawly. Okay. You're saying there's a chance. Squee, return to my hand. Draw for turn. That's a Root Walla. Okay. So I can... If you hear crazy noises, just started raining like crazy in my house. All right. Root Walla, Squee triggers the Hollow One and gives me a second potential send next turn. Root Walla, Squee, Root Walla. Or the Vengevine, whatever it is in my graveyard. That card I have. You know the one. There's Vengevine. I can kill Karn, but does that matter? I mean, yes, because they get to wish for another thing. Maybe I should have sequenced this differently, because Scrawly Crawly will kill me when I tap Bazaar next turn. I get to keep 1 card here. I can't afford to go on defense. I have to kill Karn. Alright, I'm Bazaaring again before the Crawler comes down. That's almost good. Okay, Root Walla, Force of Negation, Master of Death. Get another Walla out. Attack Karn. So here they play... I can triple block Stone Coil. Squee will come back, and I can kill Scrawly Crawly. This is getting close. This is competitive. I'm into it. I'm going to waste the Tabernacle in their end step, so they can't just play another one on their turn. Mox Pearl, 2 cards left, we know one of them. They could activate Inventor's Fair if there's an artifact better than Crawler. Really cool that they don't just have a Tormod script in their sideboard, though. There's the Crawler. That is a 3/2 that will die to my Fury next turn. Please attack, please attack, please attack. Leave the runway open for my Vengevine. Alright, they didn't do it. Okay, this is my last big shove of the game. Gotta waste the Tabernacle now. Golos or Crucible of World, finding another Tabernacle or replaying that one are both heckin' devastating to me. I do want Squee back. Master will put me to 1 because I go to 2 and then Scrawling Crawler deals 1 to me. I think I have to. I draw, I'm at 1. And then Fury, pitch Squee. Kill Crawler and put 2 damage on Stone Coil. That'll make blocking worse for them. And start spinning the wheels. Rootwalla Squee. Another guy. Here's a guy. I can attack with 2. I mean, Vengevine +1. That's what I mean by 2. Alright, here we go. I can still block and survive. I can't return this Master of Death again because I'm at 1. This is going to be tight. I'm excited. Inventor's Fair is on. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. That's not enough to activate Fair and then play Golos. It is enough to activate Fair and then play Crucible of Worlds. Alright, I think I'm dead here, but we made a good effort. Oh, Golos from hand. Do they have a second Tabernacle? Bajuka Bog. Okay. That's not as bad as Tabernacle. It's not great for me, but could have been worse. Sphere of Resistance. That's very bad for me. I guess if I'm going to shit out any Ruwals, it better happen now. Alright, Master of Death, Vengevine, Squee. Not a bad set of discards, but I am in trouble to the Sphere now. Okay, I must block or I lose. And then it'll be Golos versus Vengevine and Rootwalla. And they can bounce and redeploy Golos every turn. Yes to Squee, no to Master of Death. Oh, does that do anything? If I waste Caracas, I could also just park the Wasteland and play and be ready for the next Tabernacle. Like if they do Tutor for Crucible this turn, this also lets me play 1 spell per turn through the Sphere. Okay, I don't like my chances, but I will continue playing. They are drawing Wild off the top, plus the face-up Tutor. Bouncing the Golos. They're in the end game. Golos costs 6 to replay. Versus Saga. That's pretty good. Okay. Is random self-mill good? I think with Squee, I have to just do anything that might move me forward. Oh, that Wasteland would have been nice, but, you know. I'm doing my best with what I got here. Fury. Interesting. No way they block, right? If I just attack. Alright, I'm gonna get in with Vengevine and see what they want to say about that. Yeah, the Sphere really shut it down at the end there. They would have to respect a whole lot more if I could cast 2 spells in a turn. Hollow 1 costs 5, and if I discard 3 cards in a turn, I can... That does cost -1 and wash out the Sphere. Like, Sphere makes it cost 6, and the numbers still work out for me. That is something to consider. Right, I'm just going to pass from here. They took the damage, which means that Vengevine in my graveyard is still lively. Do I have any Hollow Ones left? Do I have all my Hollow Ones left? I think I've cast 0 Hollow Ones this game. Oh no, there's one. There's still 3 in there. 3 Hollow Ones and 20 cards. Pretty good numbers. They can now make Saga constructs. Jumperino. A lot of mana in the pool. Stone Coil for 6. It's pretty big. Alright, I got a Bazaar. Gotta find those Hollow Ones. That's my way out. Oh no, 2 at once! Shit, that was my best card. Okay, I'll keep one of them. That stinks though. Live and die by the Bazaar. I would like Squee back. I would not like Master back. Alright, something that does anything. Bazaar, let's go. A Rootwalla, we're in. Okay, I will pay 1 to cast this. And Hollow 1 costs 0 right now. Trigger Vengevine. I'm still dead, but we had an exciting moment right at the very end. And good game, opponent. All right, I'm going to concede, but yeah, enough lock pieces came together. Tabernacle is one of the monsters against the deck like this, and you really have to be careful with your Wastelands. That Golos from hand got me real good. All right, on to Is it the final round or is this 3? All right, on to round 4.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the draw in round 4 against someone whose username is Restrict Hollow 1. Oh baby, are we in? Is keeping 7? They don't even know. That's the best card in my deck. Misty Rainforest out of a no Luris deck. This could be Doomsday. Duress me. Yeah, have a gander. You want my Noxious Revival or my Snapback? I mean, probably Noxious Revival. That actually does play versus Doomsday. Mox Emerald. Let's see what I can do here. Force of Vigor. BAGHDAD. Vengevine, Master discarded. Building up the critical mass. Turn 2 is going to be my go time. If I get a turn 2. A B-Storm. Well, they can't even be mad at me. I don't have a single hollow one, much less 2. When I have 2 hollow ones in a game, they're allowed to be mad. They've staked their brand on it. Polluted Delta. Also known as Polluty Duty, if you're an idiot. Get back my masters. Squee, Goblin a Bob. I'll activate the first of several bazaars. Another Vengevine. Squee, Master, discarded. Alright, deck, just hit any creature I can cast, and we're lighting their face up. We did it. Rootwalla, Squee, other Rootwalla. And here comes the pain. Keeping the Master of Death in my hand that they already knew about, I showed them a second Squee, so I've lost information, but I've planted the seed of I wanted a blue card in my hand. Alright, what's going on here? They fetched in response to that. They're just hoping I misclick. Gotta play to your outs, I suppose. They have to combo me out right now through a Force of Vigor or Noxious Revival, or they die. I have looked at 14 cards without a Force effect, but didn't need it. Okay. Restrict Hollow One. I didn't need any Hollow Ones. Scoreboard nerd. Okay, they are a non-Luris deck that main decks Duress. They may not be actually Doomsday, but they're definitely a combo deck. I think I turn Fury into Mindbreak Trap and send it as is. I have this Chalice in my deck still on the draw. I just don't think that Fury is a card that I'm going to want access to. I could play 1 Surgical over the Chalice. I'll try that. That could have a spot where it's useful, or if I'm in the middle of losing to something, I could still look at their 60 and see what their sideboard hate is for game 3. I don't know. I just don't think Chalice on the draw is going to matter much. No Bazaar, gonna mulligan. No Bazaar, gonna mulligan, but wow, this hand has a lot of juice against a combo deck. Come on now. So at what point do we stop? If I'm confident they're a combo deck, and I have Force Blue card, Mindbreak Trap, Strip Mine, is that a 5 I can keep? Do we do this? I'm going to do this for science. I'm going to bottom Noxious Revival and Vengevine, and keep Force Blue card, Interaction, Double Wasteland. My opponent's down to 4 already. So if they send themselves into the garbage to try to have a hate card or go too fast, this is something I can overcome. Duress. Well, okay. I could force this, but yeah, I'm just going to let them look at my 2 Wastelands, and we're going to play Idiot Magic for a little while here. Alright, the Force is gone. Wasteland you. I drew a green card for Force of Vigor, which is one of my paths out of this. Playing some Hollow Ones is my other path out of this. Scalding Tarn. Them getting a basic doesn't matter because Strip Mine is broken. Serum Powder, hell yeah. Always happy to see that card. Okay, Scalding Tarn still uncracked. No spells played. Basking Rootwalla, when I get to 8 cards in hand, I could start dropping those out. That's a plan if literally nothing else is happening. Hitting land drops is broken. I'm jealous. Okay, we're back up to Force Blue card. Mox Jet. I don't think that's my fight. That's 2 spells. Please run into the Mindbreak Trap. Okay. Nope, they remembered I had it. Force of Vigor, hello. I love this card. I am going to hold this for a second. At some point, I'm going to take out their Black Mox and their Leyline with it. They're showing Hardcast Force of Will right now. There's a fetch. Fetch, fetch. What are we going for here? They've cast 1 spell. Dark Petition. Without Spell Mastery. I can't let them have this. They're probably just going to get an Ancestral Recall to send next turn. But I'm going to force a Negation Pitching Snapback. And then I'm going to force a Vigor their Leyline, and I think Jet is the one I'm worried about. Though, do I even need to do this yet? No. I guess if I draw Bazaar right now, I'll regret it. Alright, I will force now while I know it's going to work. And I'll pitch Rootwalla. I think Vengevine, applying faster pressure eventually when I get there, is better than trying to get to 8 cards in hand to get a 1-1. I forgot to strip mine them. I was supposed to do that. I'll do it now. Okay. Alright. I'm now soft to Tabernacle, but nothing else is happening. I've replaced my force. Alright, Merchant Scroll can resolve. Oh, shit. Yeah, waiting till my turn is very smart. Yeah, I should have countered Merchant Scroll. Should have given them credit that they'd play around Force and Negation. Messy, messy. Demonic Tutor. Alright, I will force this and I'll pitch Mindbreak Trap. And that's the Mindbreak Trap they knew about. There's another one they didn't know about. Uh-oh. Okay, that's 2 spells. Alright, don't play around the second trap. Though they have all the time in the world to play around any soft counter they want here. Played a land. Alright, good chance I'm dead next turn. And this was the keep for science, where I didn't have a Bazaar. I guess I have to hope they just ram into Mindbreak Trap somehow, but if they got, like, Yogg Will, they can outmuscle it. Tinker, that card's really good. From 17 life, they should be able to figure it out. If they have a monster, if they just have, like, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, that's even worse. Oh, wow. They got Black Lotus with Tinker. They definitely have Yogg Will in their hand. Oh my god. Set me free. Alright, Vengevine, Rootwalla, bash you for 4, and now I have Force Blue card up. Bazaar of Baghdad. Who's your Baghdaddy? Okay, this makes things like Bolas' Citadel work, but I think if they wanted that, they would have played it last turn. Though it might be in their hand. They may have tutored for the 6 mana to cast it. Yeah, that's definitely what happened. I'll Force of Will that. If they force back, they're Hellbent. Wow! Look at that. The Science Control hand. Who needs a Bazaar? On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. Oh my goodness, folks. In the most hilarious Can't Script It If I Tried, we are repaired into Restrictala 1, and my hand is better. I'm on the play, and my hand is better. I will keep. I recently learned you can play against people in the same Magic Online League if there's just not a lot of... Alright, doesn't want to play. Are you going to scoop the whole match, or just the game? Okay. Well, I'll finish that thought. You can finish... or you can play against the same person twice in the same league. I used to think one of you had to finish the league and rejoin, but Vintage doesn't populate the way that like Modern and Standard do. There's not 2,000 people waiting to play Vintage at any given moment. Sometimes there's under 100. And if this is the only other person online right now looking for a game, it will eventually pair you into them. Okay, I've got 7, no Bazaar, mulligan. But as we've proven, I don't need Bazaar. But my hand would have to be really convincing. All right. They kept 6. Last time they went to 4 to find Leyline, so I have to imagine they have a good plan here. Okay. Do I want to play the double Force of Vigor game to punch a hole? I think I am going to metagame my opponent here by bottoming Master of Death and Vengevine. So I have double Force of Vigor Mindbreak Trap in this opening hand. No Bazaar. That's 1 spell this turn. Soul Ring. I'll respond by Force of Vigoring, and this will activate Mindbreak Trap if they fight over it. Okay. You get your Soul Ring. Oh god, please Tinker. Please Tinker straight into this Mindbreak Trap. Dark Ritual. They're not going to stop now. Ka-chow! Okay. Now I gotta find a Bazaar. A Force of Will. Do I wanna Force of Vigor this? I think I do. Let's just go into the garbage together. These no Bazaar control hands. Don't Ancestral me. Don't you dare. Alright, Ponder. Almost like Ancestral, except you don't get 2 of the cards. But if all 3 cards are bad, it could be better than Ancestral. Ooh, Urza Saga. Well, now I wish I held that. It felt right at the time to play around like Tinker, Yogg-Will, all those things, but Urza Saga is exactly the Magic card, the beginning and end of the list, that I would have liked to hold the second Force for. Mindbreak Trap. They're probably going to tutor Vexing Bauble here if their deck can play through it, but at least they didn't get any constructs. And Vengevine Beats can still finish off someone who isn't doing anything. Sensei's top, let's go. All right, cool. They don't have a Vexing Bauble, or they can't afford to get it here. All right, just got to draw a Bazaar, and we win. A Wasteland, also pretty messed up here because they have missed their last couple land drops. There's a land drop after not spinning top. Master. Now I have Force Blue card and Mindbreak, and if I find a Bazaar, I have 2 payoff objects. It's spinning the top after fetching. Pithing Needle. That card's pretty good, and I'm not going to be able to beat it. I will Force of Will that. Wasteland. All right. Okay, I'm just going to deny resources here. Deny, deny, deny. My political strategy is also my Magic the Gathering strategy right now. I have no recollection of those events. Okay, they're back up to 2 mana. 2 is importantly not 3 for Bolas' Citadel reasons. Or Tinker reasons. Heyo! How about 1? And none of it's blue. The top is working overtime here. But if the 3 cards on top of your deck are all bad, and you have no way to shuffle them, then it doesn't matter. Soul Guide Lantern, that card's pretty decent. Eventually. Now, are they going to sit on this patiently forever, or wait until I find a Bazaar and break up some other stuff? Noxious Revival. And back to draw go. Hollow 1. Alright, I've finally drawn a Hollow 1 across 4 games against this opponent, but only 1. They're still not allowed to complain. But Bazaar is immediately a threat now, which was not true a moment ago. I could Noxious Revival my Force of Will and see if they want to do something with Soul Guide Lantern over that. Ooh, Surgical. That could be useful. I could get a look at what they're working with. I don't want to shuffle their deck for them if I don't have to, though. Ripping the Dark Rituals out of the deck doesn't seem like the worst thing. Oh, that was weird. They just spun top and then spun top without changing priority. Mox Ruby, that's 1 spell. Squee. We're almost to 8. I don't have any Root Wallows to discard. Just a bunch of Phyrexian mana nonsense. I think I am going to revive the Force of Will in this end step and see if they have anything to say about that. Like, even just flushing out the Soul Guide Lantern is a fine exchange for me here. They can't Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce. If they interact, it has to be Force of Will. Okay, I'm drawing Force of Will, which means I'm not drawing Bazaar, but I have something going on, and they know it. Spinning top. I think next turn, if I don't draw Bazaar, I'm gonna, or Root Walla, I'm gonna Surgical their Dark Rituals out. Duress. Well, you know I have Force of Will. Hitting their Dark Rituals now doesn't matter. All right. I'll force the Duress. Pitching Mindbreak Trap, which I don't love losing. Force of Negation, someday. We're back to draw go. They're up to 5 cards in hand. Force of Vigor, no green card. Force of Negation, no blue card. Just like we drew it up. Okay, they've spun their top. Dark Ritual, uh-oh. My window may have closed. Okay, they just ritualed out Leyline of the Void. I'm mostly fine with that. That doesn't stop Hollow 1. And I do have Force of Vigor in my hand. Just need a green card to go with it. Okay, what card am I worried about here? It probably still is Dark Ritual. I'm going to have to discard anyway, so I'm going to use my card now. A 3rd Leyline, Mana Crypt, Mind's Desire, Merchant Scroll. Okay. Bunch of blue cards is what you're telling me. And the deck contains... They do have a Vexing Bauble and decided to get top instead. Bunch of blue cards. Do we have blue mana left in the deck? There's 1 Underground Sea. Looks like 3 fetch lands and Black Lotus. I mean, they're drawing thin, but it is there. And they have the top spinning. Okay. Those are gone now. And I'm still in pretty good shape if I draw a Bazaar. And I actually can force now. That Sensei's top unfortunately gave them 3 extra looks because I searched their deck. Alright, deck. Bazaar, Baghdad. Green card. Wasteland. Serum Powder. Okay. As far as garbage, I'm fine discarding without feeling too bad about it. Serum Powder is the top of the list. Top spin. Pluto Delta. They're free. Can I draw a land now? It's only fair. Aha! I'll take it. Okay. I do want to cast this hollow one, and I have Serum Powder I'm okay getting rid of. All right, I will tap the Bazaar right now. I'd love to draw some Root Wallas off this. Spinning top in response. Do we have a... I just looked at their whole deck and didn't bother to check for like Bowmaster or... Oh, there was a Hull Breacher. Shit. I might get cooked. I did see a Hull Breacher, but I'm not playing around it. I will concede, though, if they have it. Is that even true? I still discard 3 cards and play Hollow One, which is bigger than that. So, yeah, have your treasures. All right, that's very bad. And I'll discard Serum Powder, Squee, and then play Hollow One. All right, I mean, here we go. That sucks every butt. But like I said, I'm never playing around that. I've cast 1 Hollow One. It's like it's restricted. All right, Merchant Scroll resolves. I know that my opponent's smart enough to wait until my upkeep to Ancestral, but I'm going to hope that they just don't, I guess. Gotta hope they get greedy and spew off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can still Desire for 1,000,000 even after I counter this, because they have the Crypt Desire 6 mana, so they can Desire for 5 here. Oh, Force Pitching Desire. Listen, I'm not a mathematician, but isn't flipping 5 cards for free off the top of your deck better than drawing 3 cards? You get more, and you get them immediately. Okay. Tendrils. Finding the natty tendrils works too. All right. We're now 1-1 lifetime against this opponent, keeping 0 Bazaar hands. Chalice comes in. I don't think Surgical's actually good. I don't think I want Pyrokinesis just for the possibility of Hull Breacher. I do have 2 Snapbacks and 4 Force of Will still. Yeah, I'm just going to switch the Chalice, and we'll do it like that. I'm going to mulligan this hand that doesn't do anything. I will keep this hand that does everything. Keep, and this is actually tough because I want the Force Green card, I want the Force Blue card, I want the Chalice, and I want the Bazaar. Do I just bottom a Hollow One and let the game unfold? I think I do. Take the control posture here rather than the aggro. Leyline of the Void out of 7 cards. How lucky. Bazaar, Chalice. And I'm going to pass the turn and force in their upkeep. Pitching the Noxious Revival. I can win a Force of Will fight here. Or at least continue a Force of Will fight. I don't know if I'm going to win it. All right, here we are. Urza's Saga. Once again punished by going aggro with that. But I don't think that's like... It's just a one of. Am I ever going to play around that? I don't think so. Grind, grind, grind. 1, 2, 3. If I get a green card in my hand, I can blow up the Saga before it tutors. That's huge, if true. Time Walk, son of a biscuit! All right, well. Yeah, I mean, like, by playing around Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, every other card, I play into Urza's Saga. Okay. They got Needle instead. I think I'm okay with this. Now I just need to draw a green card. And we're back out. Easy. Okay, they have 3 mana. They could hardcast Force of Negation. I think I'm just gonna draw here, because if I find... there we go, a Force. The Patience game paying off here. All right, I'm gonna force their Pithing Needle, pitching Noxious Revival, and now I have the ability to protect. Cool, it worked. Hull Breacher is a card that they might still have access to. Ah, shit. I should have Bazaar'd in response to Soul Ring. All right, not playing around it. Cool, got away with it. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to keep the Wasteland, apply some pressure, and give up on Force. I think I'm going to have a small number of cards in my hand for most of this game. Wasteland, Underground Sea, attack. All right, maybe I should have done this pre-combat if I was going to do it. All right, cool. I've drawn a Hollow One. I'm just going to dump out the squad here and hope that they can't win through Chalice. Oh yeah, the old second main Vengevine. I think I forgot that was in there. Whoops. All right, I've missed a ton of damage. Played like shit, but F6. One of us is dead here. And it's not me. Okay, cool. got away with it. I still only played one hollow one per game. It's like it's restricted. Okay, a positive record. This deck is harder than it looks on the surface, and as we saw throughout this league, there were spots where I had BAGHDAD and did not lead on it. There were spots where I did lead on BAGHDAD but didn't tap it right away. There were spots where I kept hands without BAGHDAD at all, which I'm not sure if that's correct, but it did work out and was competitive despite that. And the losses were really close. They were situations like mull to 4 and then be exactly one card short of having the extra card to pitch to your pitch interaction on the clutch turn, like turn 5, where you really needed it. Vexing Bauble is a hell of a card to play through, and almost all opponents are going to have access to one. Void Mirror is also in the format right now because of the prevalence of PO. That card's really bad for you. But as we saw, a positive record through the league where I'm not confident I played correctly at all times, like knowing when to just aggro mill with BAGHDAD versus try to sculpt 4 cards where you get to keep one. I do think I did a pretty good job managing the root wallas to actually trigger Vengevines rather than dropping out a 1/1 randomly when I'm not going to cast 2 spells that turn. The temptation to get damage going in the short term with a random root walla. Like, root walla has to be in play for 5 turns before it outpaces the turn you trigger Vengevine. And if you think about it like that, I think it makes a lot more sense, especially if you're bazaring and seeing multiple cards a turn and you play 12 of these things, all in all. Just dropping out that first random root walla doesn't make any sense unless you have 2 others in the bank for when you find a Vengevine. Really cool deck, though. Really cool play patterns, a lot deeper than it seems. And if you look at the recent trophies and stuff, like I mentioned, the Leyline of the Guild Pact, there's people trying stuff in the shell, which is really sweet. I'm going to leave this one here. Snowman, I hope this was helpful and educational for you. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.